विष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो यों विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनीति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna, Guru. Thank you. So we see the purpose of Vidurji returning back to Hastinapur is not to be amongst the royal order, not to enjoy the comforts or be within the palaces. The purpose is one, he has come to deliver his most beloved brother, Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra and his son kept on kicking and cursing him, insulting him. But see the magnanimity, that is why he is Mahatma Vidur. But look at his magnanimity. Even amidst all insult and all kind of injustices, Vidur ji is not thinking of taking any revenge from Dhritarashtra and his sons. He is thinking how he can deliver them, how he can open the eyes and cut the attachment, the knot of attachment of Dhritarashtra. So he returns and without wasting time, he very directly, you see, Mahatma Vidur, he does not give any background that you see what happened in the war, this and that. He did not give any old story. He said, immediately get out. Just leave this place. This is what he says, that the death can come anytime. And the Supreme Lord will approach us, Sa Esha Bhagavan Kala. So the Supreme Lord will approach us as death. And the power of time. So he says, immediately leave without wasting a moment. Such is the power and the potency of a pure person. He does not beat around the bush. So we will see how he will preach and how he will convince, connect, and convey his message to the blind, not only physically blind but spiritually blind Dhritarashtra, and how Dhritarashtra will be awakened. So Vidurji said that whoever is under the influence of Supreme Kal must surrender his most dear life, what to speak of other things such as wealth, honor, children, land, and home. Therefore, the conclusion is that there is no powerful living being within the universe who can overcome the influence of time. Even in our daily life, Srila Prabhupada says, so many things come and go, which we have no hand. But we have to suffer or tolerate them without remedial measure. That is the result of time. Going forward, Pitra Bhratar Suhat Putra Hataste Vigatanvaya Atma cha Jarayagrastha Parageham Upasase. So he's reminding, Vidurji is reminding Dhritarashtra that Pitra, your father, Bhratra is your brother, Suhit is well-wishers, and Putra are sons. So all are dead. The father of Dhritarashtra, who is the father of Dhritarashtra? Who is the father of Dhritarashtra? Let me ask how much you are hearing. Prabhupada gives the name in the setting the scene of the Bhagavad Gita. But the problem is we don't study. You don't know who is the father of Dhritarashtra. That's it.
प्रभु
Yes.
जी, हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी, इसका व्यासदेव।
Huh? Not the seminal father. The father from the Kuru side, lineage. Vyasadeva is not in the Kuru dynasty. Yes, Manini Mataji. Video on karo.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। प्रभु जी, विचित्र वीर्य प्रभु जी।
Yeah, Vichitta Virya. Vichitta Virya. Here, read setting the scene. अभी भगवत गीता कुछ भी नहीं आती है, पहला पहला पेज भी नहीं आता है, वो भी याद नहीं है. Prabhupada talks in the setting the scene about see, open setting the scene. This patricidial war, Prabhupada says, I have read it, I think more likely it is here only. So Vichitta Virya is the father, but he could not conceive. So Vyasadeva was requested to do so that the lineage could continue. So he is dead, Vichitta Virya is dead. And who is the Bhratar of Dhritarashtra? This is very obvious. Pradeep, who is the Bhratar, brother of Dhritarashtra?
पांडु जी।
Pandu. Also Vidur. Vidur is also the brother. But the elder amongst the two is Pandu, and he is also dead. And all his well-wishers, all dead. And all his sons are also dead. So your father, brother, well-wisher, and sons are all dead and passed away. You yourself has expanded the emergent portion of your life. Why? Because he is Jaraya Grastaha. Jaraya means old age. Jara. Your body is now overtaken by invalidity and you are living in the home of another. Why another? How another? Why not the same? Why he cannot claim that I am living in the house of my sons? Why? Vidurji has to point this, that you are living in the house of another. Not on. Yes, very good, Manoram. Boliye.
Yudhishthir Maharaj is the king now.
Yeah, but Yudhishthir is not in the family. Is he not the same family? You are nodding. I thought you have picked it up. Why Vidurji is saying that he is another? Yes, Madan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Because one, he never treated Pandus as his own kins. Secondly, he exiled them. So he has no right to be, part of
No,
this
that is
family.
the explanation. Where is the evidence? There is an evidence. First verse of Bhagavad Gita is the evidence.
Yes, yes.
What did he say?
That my mamka evam
Mamaka. And then he says Pandavas.
Pandavas.
Pandava is another. He is not Mamaka. Yeah? So this is the point. So when he says that he is already considered Pandavas to be other, then Vidurji has to say, now you are living on the mercy of others. The king is reminded of his precarious condition influenced by cruel time. And by his past experience, he should have been more intelligent to see what was going to happen to his own life. His father, Vichitta Virya, yeah, Prabhupada gives the term here, died long ago when he and his young brothers were little children. And it was due to the care and kindness of Bhishma Dev that they were properly brought up. Then again, his brother Pandu died also. Then in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, his 100 sons and grandsons all died, along with other well-wishers like Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, Karna, and many other kings and friends. So he had lost all men and money, and now he was living at the mercy of his nephew, whom he had put into troubles of various types. And despite all these reverses, he thought that he would prolong his life more and more. So in Mahabharata, there was only one Dhritarashtra. But in present time, in Kali Yuga, everyone is a Dhritarashtra. The same mentality is there with each and everyone. He's blind. He cannot see what is happening around. And despite all these reverses, he thought that he would prolong his life more and more. Vidura wanted to point out Dhritarashtra that everyone has to protect himself by his action and the grace of the Lord. One has to execute his duty faithfully, depending for the result of the supreme authority. No friend, no children, no father, no brother, no state, and no one else can protect a person who is not protected by the Supreme Lord. One should therefore seek the protection of the Supreme Lord, and the human form of life is meant for seeking their protection. He was warned of his precarious condition more and more by the following words. Andha pura eva vadhiro manda pragnascha sampratam Vishirnadanto mandagni sarga kapaham udvaha. Very sarcastically he says. What he says, the first thing he says, you are andha, blind. How long he has been blind? Pura eva, from the beginning. And not only you are blind, you are also vadhiro. Vadhiro means one who cannot hear properly, hard of hearing. And then manda pragya, your memory is also weak, or here it is saying shortened. You have been blind from your very birth, and recently you have become hard of hearing. Your memory is shortened and your intelligence is disturbed. Your teeth are loose and your liver is defective, and you are coughing up mucus. The symptom of old age, which had already developed in Dhritarashtra, were all one after another pointed out to him as warning that death was nearing very quickly. And still he was foolishly carefree about his future. The signs pointed out by Vidur in the body of Dhritarashtra were sign of apakshaya, or dwindling of the material body. What are these stages? How many stages are there? 6 stages are there. Birth, then there is growth, then there is stagnation, then there is reproduction, and then there is dwindling, which is called apakshaya. And then finally there is death. So the Shad Vikar is there. So he is in the which Vikar? He is in the final Vikar just before death. It is called apakshaya. When the body dwindles, the dwindling of the material body before the last stroke of death. Prabhupada says here, the body is born, develops, stays, creates other bodies, dwindles, and then vanishes. But foolish men want to make a permanent settlement of the perishable body and think that their state, children, society, country, etc. will give them protection. What is the verse? Very, very famous verse. Srimad Bhagavatam. Who will protect? The normal person is thinking that his children, his wife, his society, his country, his fellow man will protect. Deha patya kalat adishu, atma sanyashu asatsu api. Deha, apatya, kalatra. The family members, the son, the wife, adishu, and all of them. And what are they? They are atma sanyashu. They will protect me. And what are they? They are all asatsu api. Tesham pramatta nidinam pashyam api na pashyam. So such a person is blind. He cannot see, and he cannot be made seen by others who can see. Pashyam api na pashyam. This is most unfortunate. He himself cannot see, and when others make him see, he still denies to see. So how can such a person be helped? Pashyam api na pashyam. Why? Deha apatya kalatradishu atma sanyashu ashatsu api. Tesham pramatta nidhanam pashyam api na pashyate. With such foolish ideas, they become overtaken by such temporary engagements and forget altogether that they must give up this temporary body and take a new one again to arrange for another term of society, friendship, and love, again to perish ultimately. They forget their permanent identity and become foolishly active for impermanent occupation. Forgetting altogether their prime duty, saints and sages like Vidura approach such foolish men to awaken them to real situation. But they take such sadhus and saints as parasites of society, and almost all of them refuse to hear the words of such sadhus and saints. Although they welcome show bottle sadhus and so-called saints who can satisfy their senses. Divan Prabhupada wrote this. How many years back? More than 50 years back. Vidura was not a sadhu to satisfy the ill-gotten sentiment of Dhritarashtra. He was correctly pointing out the real situation of life and how one can save oneself from such catastrophes. Aho mahiyashi jantu jivat sa yatha bhavan Bhima-pavarjitam pinda adatite graha palavad. So he says, Aho Mahiyashi Jantu. How powerful, alas, Aho. This word comes many times in Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone knows any other verse which says, Aho? Aho. Aho means Allah also means what a wonder. What a great wonder. It's a exclamation mark. Many verses which begin with Srimad Bhagavatam from Aho. If we are studying Bhagavatam, we should be able to relish. But very famous verse. That made Sukadev Goswami turn to become a devotee from a Brahmavadi. Begins from Aho. Glory of holy name begins from Aho. And I will have to say Aho. What a wonder after hearing so many years, Bhagavatam still not able to catch. Aho Bakiyam Stanakal Kutam. When the narration of Krishna killing Putana, Aho Bakiyam. And what he did? She did Stanakala Kutam. She immersed her breast with the most powerful poison, Kalakutam. And she came to kill Krishna. And Krishna gave her the highest position of Dhatri, of mother. What is the verse which glorifies the holy name? Very famous verse. ये तो बता दिया मैंने, अब क्या चाहिए? बोलो दयाशील.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी अहोवतो
स्वपचतो गरिया यद जीवाग्रे वर्तते तुभ्यम. Gaurangi, hearing? Okay, let her hear. If I will speak, then she'll become conscious. So, Aho means, what a wonder, what a glory. So, what a glory, what a wonder. Shame on you. This is what Mahatma Vidur is saying. Dhritarashtra, shame on you. Why? How powerful are the hopes of a living being to continue his life verily? You are living like a household dog. He is calling Dhritarashtra a dog. Why? Because you are eating the remnants of food given by Bhima. So he's pointing out that in whose house you are living. You are living in the house of Bhima. And who is Bhima? He is the same person who killed all your 100 sons. Bhima apavarjitam pindam. Apavarjitam means his leftover, and pindam is foodstuff. You are living on the foodstuffs which are left over by Bhima. And Prabhupada gives a powerful purport. A sadhu should never flatter kings or rich men to live comfortable at their cost. A sadhu is to speak to the householders about the naked truth of life, so that they may come to their senses about the precarious life in material existence. Please watch the words. Very powerful purport. Prabhupada says, a sadhu is to speak to the householders about the naked truth of life, so that they may come to their senses about the precarious life of material existence. Dhritarashtra is a typical example of an attached old man in household life. I was hearing one lecture, and His Grace Gauranga Prabhu was giving a discourse. He was giving it amongst to the Geo community, the Geo society. This Mukesh Ambani's very big, powerful conglomerate Geo group of, so very top brass was hearing. And he was speaking. And then one person stood up and asked question. That Swamiji, are you married? And he said, no. He said, then how can you speak on household life? When you are not married, you don't have the experience of household life, how can you speak about this so-called very intellectual person? He was trying to checkmate Gauranga Prabhu. So Gauranga Prabhu said that, no, I am not married, but I have experience from those who are married. I can learn and gain experience from those who are married. And they are coming to me and revealing their situation. And then he gave an example that when I was in the Brahmachari ashram, there was one more Brahmachari inmate with me, and both of us initially were put into devotee kitchen seva. So his service was to roll chapatis, and my service was to do some cooking. So every day he would come and complain to me, what is this? I am so qualified, I am so educated, I can speak so well, I come from the village. When I was speaking, everyone in the village was hearing. And you see what my talent is being wasted here. I am being asked to roll chapatis. So many times he was speaking, so Gaurang Prabhu told him that I am not the right person. I am in the same boat with you. I am also from IIT, but I am doing this menial service. Very important. So finally, one day he said, I am leaving. And he left. He said, nobody is taking care. Nobody is giving any heed. So he left. And he left the Brahmachari ashram and he, of course, he went outside. And after 10 years, they met. Gaurang Prabhu continues to be a Brahmachari. And this Brahmachari who became a householder, he came and approached Gaurang Prabhu and said, you remember? We were in the same kitchen when we were in our PBT, pre-Brahmachari training. And he remembered, he said, okay, you didn't want to roll chapatis, so you left. He said, what are you doing now? And this person who had left, he said, I am rolling chapatis. He said, why? Why you are rolling chapatis? Because you didn't want to roll chapatis, you left. He said, what can I do? I left and I married, and my wife has severe backache, back pain. She cannot stand and cook in the kitchen. So I have to roll chapatis. Gaurang Prabhu told that if you would have tolerated a little bit, then you would have been not rolling chapatis. So this is what Vidun Maharaj is speaking. He is speaking from the experience. Everything is there in this Shastra. We don't have to, once Prabhupada said, you don't have to eat the stool to know that it is filth. It is already filth. It is known. It is like asking that stool is filth. Do we have to have an experience to know? One has to eat to know that stool is filth. That is fourth class. So here he is condemning the position of Dhritarashtra, and Prabhupada is saying that this is a sadhu is to speak the householder about the naked truth of life, so that they may come to their senses about the precarious life of material existence. Dhritarashtra is a typical example of the attached household, old man in household life. He had become a pauper in the true sense. Pauper means a beggar. He had become a beggar in the true sense. Yet he wanted to live comfortably in the house of Pandavas, of whom Bhima especially is mentioned because personally he killed two prominent sons of Dhritarashtra, namely Duryodhana and Dushasana. These two sons were very much dear to him for their notorious and nefarious activities. Prabhupada is highlighting. And Bhima in particularly pointed out because he killed these two persons. Why was Dhritarashtra living there at the house of Pandavas? Because he wanted to continue his life comfortably, even at the risk of all humiliation. Vidura therefore was astonished. How powerful is the urge to continue life? This sense of continuing one's life indicates that a living being is eternally a living entity and does not want to change his bodily habitation. The foolish man does not know that a particular term of body existence is awarded to him to undergo a term of imprisonment. And the human body is awarded after many, many birth centers as a chance for self-realization to go back home, back to Godhead. But persons like Dhritarashtra try to make plans to live here in a comfortable position with profit and interest, for they do not see things as they are. Dhritarashtra is blind and continues to hope to live comfortably in the midst of all kinds of reverses of life. A sadhu like Vidura is meant to awaken such blind persons and thus help them go back to Godhead, where life is eternal. Once going there, no one wants to come back to this material world of miseries. We can just imagine how responsible a task is entrusted to a sadhu like Mahatma Vidur. One second. Agnirnirishto dattascha grahadarascha dushitaha hritam kshetram dhanam yesham taddatter ashubhikiyat. There is no need to live a degraded life and subsist on the charity of those whom you tried to kill by arson and poisoning. You also insulted their wife and usurped their kingdom and wealth. So he's pointing out what all has happened. The system of Varna Ashram religion sets aside a part of one's life completely for the purpose of self-realization and attainment of salvation in the human form of life. That is the routine division of life. But persons like Dhritarashtra want to stay at home, even to the very ripened age, and even in degraded condition of accepting charity from enemies. Vidura wanted to point out this anomaly of his brother and impress upon him that it was better to die like his sons than accepting such humiliating charity. Vidura wanted to point out and impressed upon him that it was better to die like his sons. Okay. 5,000 years ago, there was one Dhritarashtra. But at the present moment, there are Dhritarashtras at every home. So what we need? If there are Dhritarashtras at every home, what is required? Who is required? Prabhupada is saying, no? But at present moment, there are Dhritarashtras at every home. So what to do? What is the remedy? Yes, Madhusura Prabhu?
Either become Vidura or invite Vidura.
Yeah. If Dhritarashtra is there, then one also has to have Vidura. Because with Dhritarashtra, Vidurji would be there. But the problem in the Kali is, at that time, Dhritarashtra, at the last moment before quitting his body, he agreed to hear Vidura. But as Prabhupada was speaking, but in Kali, these Dhritarashtras are so rigid and so self-destructive that they will not hear. What to speak of changing? Hare Krishna, Dayashil, where is Ramya? She is hearing?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay, very good. What an ideal family who is hearing together. I cannot, share with you. Since yesterday, I am hearing and repeatedly reading that verse and all. One aspect of hearing where Dhanyatama, Vayam Dhanyatama, yesterday I shared that verse with you, where Parishit Maharaj is saying Dhanyatama. So I was reading the commentary of Srila Sanatana Goswami and Jiva Goswami. So Jiva Goswami is saying words, why he is saying is Dhanyatama. Why he is most fortunate. One is fortunate, one is more fortunate, but Parishit Maharaj is saying himself that he is the most fortunate person. Why he is most fortunate? Because he has the opportunity to hear Punyam Krishna Katha repeatedly from the spiritual master like Shukdev Goswami. There can be no better blessings than the blessings to hear Krishna Katha. And it says Punyam Krishna Katha. So this Krishna Katha which is flowing from your lotus mouth has become so attractive to me. Very good. All of you are hearing together. Good. Some way he tried to hear. So we see the discourse here of how Mahatma Vidur is awakening Dhritarashtra. Prabhupada is saying that 5,000 years ago there was one Dhritarashtra, but at the present moment there are Dhritarashtras in every home. Politicians especially do not retire from political activities unless they are dragged by the cruel hand of death or killed by some opposing element. I am reminded of one Dhritarashtra. There's so many. He was the chief minister for a very long period of time in Tamil Nadu. His bodily function stopped. What was his name? Karunanidhi or something like that. K. Karunanidhi. What was the name? Anyone knows?
Yes,
Oh,
Prabhuji.
Karunanidhi.
Huh?
Karunanidhi.
Karunanidhi. Not Karunanidhi, what was it? Something like that. He is the father of this Chief Minister Stalin.
Chief Minister, yes.
His bodily function stopped. He was so much in old age, but he refused to give up the post of Prime Minister, as Chief Minister, even to his son. And when he died, then his son became the Chief Minister. He was not willing. Because his attachment is not in his son. This Rashtra we can see. All the sons have died. But he wants to remain in the palace of Hastinapur. He is happy that he is being called the king. So Prabhupada is pointing out this defect. To stick to family life up to the end of one's human life is the grossest type of degradation. Everyone is hearing. Please see the principle. Those who follow the principle, they will be absolved. And those who deny, Prabhupada is saying, to stick to family life up to the end of one's human life is the grossest type of degradation. And there is an absolute need for the Viduras to educate such Dhritarashtra even at the present moment. Tasyapi tava deho ayam kripanasya jijivasho paraiti annichito jirno jaraya vasashiva. Despite your unwillingness to die and your desire to live even at the cost of honor and prestige, tasyapi teva deho ayam kripanasya. Kripana. The Kripana and a Brahmana. Prabhupada talks about it. Where Prabhupada talks about Kripana and a Brahmana. Dhritarashtra is a Kripana. What is a Kripana? What is the definition of Kripana? Prabhupada gives the definition of Kripana.
Miserly.
That is the word meaning. What is the definition of Kripana? (2.7). Prabhu, you have not studied. I'm very, what should I say? I am made to come to shocks. Yes, Pranab, boliye.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One who does not know the value of life.
Yes. One does not know the value of human life. And he does not have any spiritual realizations. That is also there. Read again in 2.7. And then Prabhupada gives that in 2.13 also. Dehinosmin yathade. Yeah. In 2.2, sorry. In 2.2. Anarya who's Arya and Anarya. So Kripana means one who knows the value of human life. Kripana does not know the value of human life. So Kripana means one who is attached. What Dhritarashtra is a shining example. So despite your unwillingness to die and your desire to live, even at the cost of honor and prestige, your miserly body will certainly dwindle and deteriorate like an old garment. Jarya means deteriorate, old age, and Vasasi. Vasasi is the old garment. Vasansi jinani yatha vihaya. Like an old garment. The word Kripanasya Jijivo are significant. There are two classes of men. Prabhupada talks about it. Say, this is Prabhupada's mercy. Of course, when I am sharing with you Srimad Bhagavatam, I don't have the opportunity to read it before. I read along with you. And Prabhupada is exactly talking about this point in the purport of Brahmana and Kripana. One is called the Kripana and the other is called the Brahmana. The Kripana, though the miserly man, has no estimation of his material body, but the Brahmana has a true estimation of himself and the material body. The Kripana, having the wrong estimation of the material body, wants to enjoy sense gratification with his utmost strength And even in old age, he wants to become a young man by medical treatment or otherwise. Dhritarashtra is addressed herein as Kripana because without any estimation of his material body, he wants to live at any cost. Vidura is trying to open his eyes to see that he cannot live more than his term and that he must prepare for death. Since death is inevitable, why should he accept such a humiliating position for living? It is better to take the right path even at the risk of death. Human life is meant for finishing all kinds of miseries of material existence, and life should be so regulated that one can achieve the desired goal. Dhritarashtra, due to his wrong conception of life, had already spoiled 80% of his achieved energy. So it behooved him to utilize the remaining days of his miserly life for the ultimate good. Such a life is called miserly because one cannot properly utilize the assets of human form of life. Only by good luck does such a miserly man meet a self-realized soul like Vidura, and by his instructions get rid of the nations of material existence. Gata swartham imam deha virakto mukta bandhana avignato gatirjayat savadhira udharata. He who has not properly utilized his material body is called undisturbed. Gata swartham, without being properly utilized, imam, this deham, viraktaha, muktaha, bandhana, avignata gati, jayat, savadhira. Okay. Okay. A little technical. He who has not properly utilized his material body is called undisturbed. Please very carefully hear. In a very sarcastic way, he is giving the message that he who has not properly utilized his body is called undisturbed. If he goes to an unknown place and freed from all obligations, indifferently quits his body. Who understood this verse? Why Vidurji is saying like this? Should I read again or is it clear? It begins with one who has not utilized his body and is called undisturbed. When he goes to a unknown place, and what he does, he quits his body. What it means? Ali, we are not just doing the, reading, just by, uttering the words and moving. Some understanding, some application also has to be built up. Pranab, can you explain?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. This is who is renounced person, about a renounced person.
No.
They gave up material, family, and
See, renounced person means he has already properly utilized his body. He who has not properly utilized his body is called undisturbed if he goes to an unknown place and freed from all obligation, indifferently quits his body. Yes, Dayashil?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay, yes, Ramya, boliye.
Prabhuji, he is in Vanaprastha.
Sorry? He is?
In the ashram of Vanaprastha ashram.
Okay. Okay, good. So even if he has not utilized his body, if he becomes a Vanaprastha and he quits his body. Vanaprastha means freeing from all obligations. Very good. Okay. Now here, Narottam Das Thakur, a great devotee and acharya. So, in a way, Vidur is saying that although you have spoiled your life, although you have wasted all the opportunities, but it is not everything is over. There is still some hope for you. That even if you quit now, if you leave this palace, if you leave this place and remain undisturbed, don't be in anxiety and go to an unknown place, although you are already freed from obligations, but you free yourself from your old self-imposed obligations and just quietly quit your body. So Prabhupada talks about Srila Narottam Das Thakur, a great devotee and acharya of Gaudiya Vaishnava sect, has sung, "My Lord, I have simply wasted my life. Having obtained the human body, I have neglected to worship your lordship, and therefore I have willingly drunk poison." Very famous bhajan. What is the bhajan? So many times we have sung this song. Not there, Shil. Yes, Pranav.
হরে কৃষ্ণ প্রভুজি, মনুষ্য জন্ম পাইয়া রাধা কৃষ্ণ না বুঝিয়া জানিয়া শুনিয়া বিষ খাইল।
Hari Hari Vifile Janama Gonaina. So even those who are Janama Gonaina, they have not have Radha Krishna bhajan. They have not performed Radha Krishna bhajan. And what they have done? They have Janiya Shuniya Vishakhainu. Even for such persons, there is some hope. In other words, the human body is specially meant for cultivating knowledge of devotional service to the Lord, without which life becomes full of anxieties and miserable conditions. Therefore, one who has spoiled his life without such cultural activities is advised to leave home without informing his friends and relatives. This is the point. And being thus freed from all obligation of family, society, country, etc., give up the body at some unknown destination so that others may not know where and how he has met his death. This is how Vidurji is convincing Dhritarashtra. Dhira means one who is not disturbed, even when there is severe provocation. Usually, a man cannot give up the comfortable family life due to his affectionate relation with wife and children. Self-realization is obstructed by such undue affections for family, and if anyone is at all able to forget such a relation, he is called undisturbed or dhira. In case of Dhritarashtra, all of them were over. Dhritarashtra lost all his sons, he lost all his friends, his relatives. He never considered Pandavas to be his own. So he cannot claim that Pandavas were there. They were my relatives. They cannot say Mamaka. This is, however, the path of renunciation based on a frustrated life. So in case of Dhritarashtra, it was frustrated life. But stabilization of such renunciation is possible only by association with bona fide saints and self-realized souls, by which one can be engaged in the loving devotional service of the Lord. Sincere surrender into the lotus feet of the Lord is possible by awakening the transcendental sense of service. This is made possible by the association of pure devotees of the Lord. Dhritarashtra was lucky enough to have a brother whose very association was a source of liberation for his frustrated life. Okay, I'll stop here. If we continue at this pace, there is hope that we may come close. We are able to take around 6 to 7 verses every day, with a little bit of discussion also, understanding the verse and the context in what it is being spoken, what is the message, and how we can take benefit from the message. So what is the message from today's discussion? What is the message of Mahatma Vidur? Only one person got the message. Others did not receive the message of what Vidurji is speaking. What is the message, Pradeep? Hare Krishna.
Attachment to the material position.
What attachment to material? What is the message? You not heard, did not receive the message. Pranav,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, about today's discussion message is how one can conclude his life respectfully, give up.
no, not clear. Okay, there shall you speak.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, one is that detachment from the family life, and also Prabhuji, Vidurji is telling that whatever time you have wasted, that is okay, but whatever time you have got, at least you utilize that time. Now you become serious now. That is
Not to become another Dhritarashtra. That is the message. Not to become another Dhritarashtra. And Prabhupada is saying that in present time, in every house there is a Dhritarashtra. So at least not remain blind and hard of hearing now. At least now awaken. Now wake up. Okay? Thank you very much. Very important. It is important for all of us, including me. Because material nature, the modes, they breed material attachment. They breed blind spiritual blindness. They breed non-discrimination. So again and again, repeated hearing is important. And hearing in the association of devotee, the understanding is many times more than individual hearing for one's own advancement. That is selfish. That is why Srimad Bhagavatam says, Satam prasanga mamavir samvidam. Bhavanti hit karna rasayan katha. So this is rasayan. This katha which we are hearing, Krishna katha, or katha of Dhritarashtra. In Krishna katha, why Dhritarashtra is coming? He is a negative person. But this is required so that we know not to do this. Not to become a Dhritarashtra. Thank you very much. We'll continue tomorrow. And book marathon has started. Dayashil, did you get any reply from anyone?
no, not yet, Prabhuji.
Because everyone is a Dhritarashtra. How can they reply? How will they reply? And most of them, people, I was seeing your list, most of them are defunct. They will never give you any reply. So you have to play the role of Vidura. If you don't play the role of Vidura, Dhritarashtra's will never respond. Okay? You assign and send them and tell them. And you also, Manoram Prabhu, you prepare a list. Those who are initiated duties, you are in Krishna consciousness for how many years now? More than 10 years? Will you not increase your book distribution score? Every time I have to push so hard from behind and, catch your neck every time and, force you to do. That is fourth class. Not even third class, fourth class. Pranab Prabhu, you tell me how many books to be sent. This time I will send everything from Delhi because this time in the disappearance year of Guru Maharaj, we want to dedicate whatever little effort we put for his pleasure. Then you also, Pradeep, I'll send you books, whatever language you want, either it is Kannada or English or whatever. Minimum 100 books for you, Pradeep. So many years of Krishna consciousness, it should be minimum 1,000. But I know very difficult for you to go out and become a Vidura. The minimum 100 books. And Pranav, yours will be at least 500. You should do at least 500 books. 5, including those 5 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is already included in that. Every day you have to go out and make effort. If you remain in house, then nothing will happen. Only marathon will be over. Make an effort. And there you should do 1,000. Our entire IERI campus is with you. You have the opportunity. And Manoram Prabhu, you also let me know. So instead of sending it late, you should have the books before Gita Jayanti. So you all let me know, and I will get it arranged to your places and delivered, and be in marathon mode. If you are distributing books and not hearing the class, I can agree. This is one exception which is allowed. If you are going to the streets and distributing books, meeting people and distributing books, even if you miss classes, I don't mind. But at least you see our teams, Gopi Bhav Prabhu and team, they left in October itself. Almost 3 to 4 months they will do book distribution, a very intensive book distribution. They will cover and travel at least 12 cities where there are no facilities to stay, and big team, more than 60 people to be together. We went on a yatra for 3 days. How much we have to think of management? And they are sending us quotes. Very, very inspiring. So if we make, see, success will depend, result will depend on the attempt and effort that we make. Most of us don't make effort, or we shy away from making effort. And the results are also likewise. So this time at least give up all the shyness and all the reservation and self-preservation. And to please Guru Maharaj in separation. If you see ISKCON history of distribution of books, you know which year maximum number of books were distributed? That we have not been able to match so far even now. 1978. 1977, Srila Prabhupada disappeared. And 1978, the number of books distributed by ISKCON worldwide, that figure has still not been matched now, even in 2023. Because devotees showed their love for Prabhupada by distributing books. If at all there is some love, if at all there is some reverence and respect for anyone who is a spiritual preceptor in our life. Otherwise, then Dhritarashtra life. Then the unfortunate part is, even if Vidur is calling, there is no hearing and no change. So please wake up. Please wake up and make your effort. Go and meet people. Request them to sponsor. If not more, ask them 5 books, 11 books. No one will deny. Giving 4,000-5,000 rupees as donation for book distribution, for spreading the message of Bhagavad Gita is very much possible. Even more is possible. So please make effort. Please don't remain in the shying condition. Any question from anyone or any discussion? No? Okay, so we'll close. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.